Alright everybody, welcome back to Triple Gambit. I'm Rook, and today I want to go out and tame up some Sabertooths. They're fun creatures to run around on, they're fairly easy to get, and they're good starter tames to run around on. They're good for caves because they're fast and agile, so I'm going to go out and try to tame up some of those to get some good stats and combine them for a creature we can take into a cave here pretty soon. But first, we've got to go out and kill all of the low levels. So it might take a while, but we'll come back whenever we've got something interesting.
Found along the island's many inland waterways, Lutrapaloso have...
Dang it! I was gonna try to tame this 125 Saber and went to hit a moose to kill it, and it came up behind me and I wound up hitting it and it was already low on health. That's why I was trying to give it the moose. Instead, I just killed it. So that's why I can't have nice things. Well, one of the reasons why I can't have nice things. If I hit it again, it was probably going to die. There's something around here I could kill for you. Probably not. Oh no, don't. Oh my goodness. It's gonna die to this Anki that it's trying to attack. Yep, and it's dead. Seriously? Come on. God.
Nice.
Except I'm out now.
There you go.
Jeez. $22 health left.
That's all it's got?
Yeah. Yeah, it's... I can't bring this body any closer.
Maybe you can Vita that Enki? For those of you that don't know, wild dinos, they heal whenever they harvest corpses. So if you can get one to eat one whenever they're really hurt, you might be able to get it to heal up and be able to continue tranking it and make the process go a little bit quicker. Is it okay if I leave you for a bit?
Yeah. It's at 74 health if you wanna.
So how much torpor?
4,200 out of 4,800.
How much health does it have?
93. Okay, wait. One more.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Diplos just don't know how to leave you alone. That's a 150. I don't see anything incredibly dangerous up here. I'll go ahead and kill this Inky. Not kill. Eat that Inky and other Saber body just so that I don't draw an RG. Okay, one more. There she goes. Alright, so I don't want anything getting in here to eat the Saber. Alright, I like her purple stripes. Very nice. Let's see what she's got. 45 points into health now. So that went up from 31 to 45. 31 points into melee. All in all, I'd say that's a pretty successful tame. could you please eat the bird? Please? It's right here. I really hate it when that happens. Just trying to be careful. And I checked its health. It should have survived, but it must have moved at the last second. So Echo has done a lovely job building up a small breeding pen for us to use while we're here. At some point we do want to make a bigger breeding compound for some real serious projects. But for now, we're gonna use that. We only have a few small things. I really want to get started on breeding the Sabertooths that I've tamed. I've got the 2 here with the best stats, so I'm gonna try to just breed and combine those stats together and maybe try to get a few mutations on top of it. To help with that, with the breeding of them, I'm going to use this soul terminal that you get from the Dino Storage mod. You can set the INI so that it will automatically pick up babies as they're born, so you don't have to be there to wait, and you can actually log off if you need to or get stuff done. Echo seems to have left his Casteroid here when he was done making things. Move him out of the way. Lovely little room with a view. So this is pretty cool. It snaps to walls. You can also put it wherever you want, and will snap on to the edges of foundations. There you go. Another thing we have is the S+ hitching post, which allows you to put out your creatures and put them on wandering. You can enable mating, but whenever you leave render distance, they will stop mating, or if you log off, they will usually quit mating. But if you enable wandering, then that doesn't matter. But if you enable wandering, then they'll wander around and they can wander out. It gets messy. So the S+ hitching post makes it to where you can hitch them and enable wandering, and they will stay in the same place. Alright. And then I'll come over here in the options, newborn auto trap. This is something you gotta change in the INI. You can enable it, and this is the radius, which if I turn it on, you can see that is a large radius. Does not need to be that big for these 2 little sabers. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to just make that smaller. That should be fine. Oh yeah, I can be even smaller than that. Alright, there we go. And so If we had other creatures breeding, then we might change the size of it. But now I'm gonna go here now that I have it the size that I want it to be, and I'll make it invisible so that you can't see it. But I know that the babies will be picked up. And we'll come back. Hopefully we'll have some babies that we can raise up. Breeding can be difficult to understand the first time that you're really getting into it. But once you understand how ARC's system works, it makes it a little bit easier. And the Dino Storage mod with the Soul Terminal makes it even easier. So whenever you have a creature, take the Styla for example, and you tame it, it tells you how many points go into each stat. So you can see that this Styla has 35 points into health. I have leveled 12 points into its health. But it tells you 35. So if you breed this creature with another one, it has a chance of getting 35 points into health. So with the Sabers, I wanted to combine the best health, stamina, weight, and melee into one male and one female so that they have the same stats. Now doing that when they have the same stats and the same level, see they're both 239, means that if you get a mutation on one of those stats, so I could get a melee mutation, so instead of 38 points it would be 40 points into melee. It always goes up by 2, which right now, because I'm just combining the stats, the terminal in here is a little crazy. Once you get the same stats on the parents, then it's a lot easier to look for the mutation that you want. Because a lot of these are, like this one, you can see that it has a mutation into melee. Every time you get one mutation, it adds 2 levels to it. So will be a 40 points into melee instead of the original 38. But you also notice that for the health and the weight, in parentheses, it's a negative number in red. That means that the other parent has a better stat in that one that the baby did not get. So this one only has 22 points into health, and it's blue because those are the points that the father had. But you can see that the father had the best stamina, it has 40 points, and it got that one. So the female had 45 points into health, so I was looking for that, and I wanted the good stamina, the good weight, and the good melee. So looking at this example, you can see that the only stats that are in red, parentheses, are food and movement speed, which on a Sabertooth, I do not care if I have the best food or movement speed, because the movement speed points don't really matter, and on a Sabertooth, the food stat doesn't make a difference. Neither does the oxygen stat, because I'm not planning on swimming in the ocean with the Sabertooth, but I wanted to make sure that I had a creature that had those good stats that I was looking for. I wanted the best health, the best melee, because I want to be able to ride around on this creature and do caves, or at least a couple of caves, because Sabertooths are small and agile, so they fit into most of them. So I went through specifically trying to find a male and a female that match. And that little sound that you heard is the terminal picking up a new baby, because they're still breeding. I'll turn them off here in a minute, but that's just the sound of it automatically picking up a baby that's born, so it doesn't starve to death. It automatically claims it, and it keeps it in here. They do not grow up in here. They don't get imprinted in here. It literally just picks them up and stores them. But I wanted to find a male and a female that are the same. So they don't have the same colors, which doesn't matter, but it doesn't sometimes make it a little easier to tell them apart from the mutations. But you can see along the top line that it got all of the mother's colors, because all of those blocks are in pink. Over here, you can see all of the blocks, the color blocks along the top, the 035, the 421, 534, those are all in blue blocks, meaning it got the father's colors. If you look at some of these others, you'll notice a combination. Like this one, there's a pink block, a blue block, and another pink block, meaning that it got a combination of the parents' colors. Whenever you get a mutation, it will be a different color, but it will be outlined in green, showing you that that is a color that was not originally from the parents. It might not always be a fun color, like that blue is on this one, but it will, every stat mutation you get will give you a color mutation, but it's not always an interesting one. Sometimes a color mutation is just brown. But we're going to go with this male and female. I'm going to let them raise up. I'm not going to imprint them because imprinting them will change their stats. As you imprint a baby, each time you imprint it, its health gets a little bit, it gets like a health boost, and I think it gets a melee boost, maybe a couple of others, but we want to keep these clean, basically a clean stat block, so we know what we started with to what we get later on if we get mutations. So they'll grow up and they will stay with 2,500 health. You know, they'll keep all of those same stats as they grow up. As we progress further in arc and on this island, you will see me get more into mutation stacks and how I do that, because at some point I will be doing mutations on battle creatures so that we can take in creatures to hopefully fight successfully the alpha creatures, because they're pretty difficult, and having good creatures with some crazy stats can make it a lot easier. Alright. So I'm going to toss out this male and this female that have the same stats. See, they've got the reverse colors. This one has the dad's colors, and this one has the mom's colors. As babies, they look so ridiculous. I mean, really, it's really cute, but it's ridiculous. They are all smooshed up. Look at the little tiny tails and big heads. This one's got a little brown spot on its toe. But yeah, it's pretty cute. I like them. I like Sabers. They're the first creatures that I ever bred on console. That was fun. Didn't really understand what I was doing back then, but definitely tried my best. So we'll wait for these guys to grow up. And what I'll do to help me keep track of which ones these are is I will usually name them the perfect F or perfect female and the perfect male. Nope. Because they have the plain original stats that I can breed mutations off of later. So whenever I get a melee mutation, that baby will be named Melee 1 or M1 or 1M. Something to signify that's the mutation that it has, and it will get tied up with the female. Hopefully we'll get, a few more females, and then we'll be able to start getting some mutations. But this way, it always stays clean. You're only getting mutations on one side. It gets really confusing, and we're not breeding for crazy mutations right now, so I will get more into that later with a different breeding project. But for now, just wanted to get those stats combined, so I'll raise these two and get a baby from them that has all of those good stats that I can imprint and run around on. I don't think Echo realizes that those colors don't reach all the way to the bottom. you'll probably notice that since we last checked in with the saber breeding, I've finished off my greenhouse. I don't remember when that exactly happened. I've got my Hesperornis walking around in here, hopefully so that we can get some eggs for oil. I thought I just saw one. And if any of their eggs hatch into babies, then I can gather them for organic polymer. So I got them running around in here, and I also got a small fence built so that not just any terror bird wandering by can come in and attack everybody. I've got Ember here, keeping an eye on everyone. But as you know, we've been working to breed together the Sabers to get all of the best stats, and here we go. This is the first one that came out that had all of the best stats in it. You'll probably notice in a future video where we actually do a cave that this is some time travel going on because things are going to look a little bit different than they do here in this video. But I don't have a name for this saber yet, so if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I have put some levels into him already running around, but he has all of the good stats from the mom and the dad, so he's got the good health, good weight, and good melee. And I was able to get him fully imprinted, which you'll notice up here in the top corner, that symbol. Whenever you push and hold H, it'll tell you that that means that it is 100% imprinted, which means you get 30% more damage and you take 30% less damage when the creature is being ridden. So let's see if we can't demonstrate this on this Gigantopithecus. So, fight it, I do 203 damage and only take 10. But now you can see it takes 15 damage without me riding and only deals 156 damage without me riding on him. So, because it's imprinted, things are a little bit easier to fight. Anyway, you can see that Sabertooths move pretty quick. They're fun just to run around on, have fun. They jump a little bit, so if there's a gap somewhere, you can get across. And yeah. And because they're small, they fit through most cave entrances and through the cave and get around pretty easy. So if we go over here to check out the breeding building, I kept the perfect male and perfect female breeding until I got a melee mutation, because these guys already had really good health. They had 45 points into health, and so I've been doing a little bit of work and have 4 melee mutations so far, which you can see the current color mutation it has is this pink color. But we've been breeding them up, and eventually I'll combine that high melee with the high health I already have. Whenever you come into the soul terminal on a normal baby in this breeding process, you can see here that this one got the mom's melee mutation instead of the dad's, which currently has mutations on top of it. So that's why it says -8 points. But as you go down and you get to the higher level, which means it got more stats on it, oh, it got a different mutation, you'll see that that melee stat is in blue, meaning that it did get the father's melee mutation. And if you keep going down here, you'll see that that melee mutation says +2 in green, which means that it got the father's mutation, and then it got a mutation on top of that, which raises the melee to 48 instead of 46. So take out that baby. Put away this one. And then put the new baby out. So since the father was melee number 4, the 4th mutation, I'll go in here and I'll name this one melee 5. There's a Carno out there somewhere. There he is. I'll put some raw meat into him till he's old enough to eat out of the trough. I'll hitch him, and then as soon as he's done growing up, we'll turn them on wandering, and he'll breed with these 3 females until we get another melee mutation, and that's how we'll keep going about that. I have 3 females just because it makes it go faster. You know, you have more babies coming out, so you have more chance of getting the mutation that you're looking for. So that's, you can get more females for sure, but not in a huge rush to get anything done with this, so we'll just go ahead and put that out. He does have a mutation, which looks like it was a body color, because you can see he's not that pink anymore, he's that light brown instead of this black gray color. His body is brown. So another thing about this Dino storage terminal that I forgot to show is that you can go into the options and the mesh, the modern, you can change it to primitive so it looks like this nice book, or you can change it to basic, which looks like a little mini version of the storage vault, and it goes back. So I'm gonna leave it on the book stand because I just think it looks nicer. You know, in this space, we don't have any fancy tech stuff right now, so it doesn't need to look all fancy and high tech. But yeah, that's what we've been doing with the Sabers, and we'll keep going with that. I'm not sure how far. We'll see what kind of damage they do as we go, but otherwise, I'm gonna run around on this one, keep leveling them until we get higher melee mutations, and do some more running around on this guy. What level is this Carno? Alright. 10. We got this. With the Sabers, they only have a left click attack. They don't have a right click or a C or anything like that. So they can jump, they take less fall damage, and they've got an attack, which can either be a bite or can be a claw attack. Like that. Yeah. Look out for the upcoming video that is going to be us doing a cave together here pretty soon. That should be coming out. If you enjoyed watching this one, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for ARK adventures and more breeding projects. I'm going to be starting up a mutation station to get some crazy stuff going on. And we'll breed together those Carnos, the one that I got, and then the one that Blakwell tamed for me. So otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.